Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. I get to welcome you to a Thank-Filled Thursday. Really thankful for my guest who's in the building today. We got Eugenie in the building, and we're going to be talking about the 12th annual Jackson Street Jazz Walk, y'all. I'm so glad that she's here to give us the insight on what folks can expect from this amazing event. But of course, I'm always excited that you're joining us as well. You know, this is the best time of the show, at the top of the show, to share it with others who you feel could benefit from our daily dose of dopeness we give you here on The Day with Trae. And as always, if you can't watch us, you can listen to us anywhere you find your favorite podcast as well. Just search Converge Media Network and The Day with Trae. You'll find us on your favorite platform. Now, before I get into it with Eugenie, I just got to say that this is exciting because there is such a rich history of jazz musicians taking up space right there on 12th Avenue and Jackson Street. And I've heard so many stories, starting with my grandmother, who really shared some anecdotal stories around how she and her friends would get dressed up to go see who was going to be on stage. And she was like, y'all don't hold a candle to how we used to get dressed up, honey, right? She always talked about the amazing furs they would wear, the heels, the dresses, hair was to the nines, everything was on point. And I love it because a lot of times people are surprised by this. Like, what? Seattle had a jazz scene. Seattle had Black musicians traveling up there back in the days. And it's like, yes, that's exactly what our entire wall behind me on every episode is showcasing, this rich Black history and legacy that really truly made this an amazing destination known all throughout the country and the world. So I'm so grateful because we have efforts right here that continue to keep this legacy alive. And this is an amazing event that is a contributor to that, because we need to be able to showcase not only the history, but how it's traveled through time and where we are today with some amazing jazz greats of our own. Like, y'all heard me probably talking about the phenomenal After Midnight that was at Fifth Avenue Theater. Incredible musicians. And of course, shout out to my brother Owar, because you was on that trumpet, brother. It was incredible. But the thing is that if we do not showcase it, this is where history gets lost. And so it's so important, especially in today's time where we are seeing the erasure of history at a mass scale, that we need to be really intentional within our communities to keep our legacies of time and place alive and thriving in the minds of not only the generations who were there to see it, but the generations who never saw it. These stories need to continue. And some of that work is really done through storytelling, like our old school griots, right? We need to bring those things back, because these are stories that we should all be excited about. We should understand the players behind the time, and we should definitely be gearing up to participate in phenomenal opportunities to learn more, to celebrate these legacies and those who are pioneering the way in jazz music today. So I'm really excited, because up next, after this short break, we got Eugenie in the building, y'all. Eugenie Jones is joining us, an amazing award-winning singer, songwriter, and vocalist herself, musician. She is actually going to be guiding us through what we can expect at the Jackson Street Jazz Walk. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss it. You're watching The Day with Trae. Well, all right, welcome back, y'all, to The Day with Trae. Joining me right now, we got Eugenie Jones in the building. Hi.
Hi, Trae. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
This was so impromptu last minute, so I'm glad it worked out.
Absolutely. Well, yeah. I'm so glad that you're here and that, you know, you see these phenomenal photos. This just really keeps our legacy alive. But you're doing that in such great ways. So thank you.
You're very welcome. I mean, I walked in and I saw this wall. There's a lot of the same photos that we used for the Jazz Walk, and I knew right away we're simpatico.
There we go.
So I'm so happy to be here with you.
I'm so glad too. Now, you have a whole career of musicianship. I just want you to give us a little bit of that background. What got you started in music?
Yeah, so I am a singer, songwriter, producer. I've been professional for about 12 years now. I have 6 albums out there, 32 original published songs, and I've been Earshot Jazz Vocals of the Year twice, Recording of the Year, Album of the Year once, and Seattle Jazz Hall of Fame also. And my music is internationally recognized, #4 on Jazz Week's Top 50.
Wow.
So I have a pretty prolific career out there trying to roll that ball up the hill, as I say. But I love it. And I came into jazz without that expectation, knowing this is what I'm going to be when I grow up. I grew up with a mom who sang in choir, like a lot of African-American children, and I grew up around her singing. And she passed away from cancer, and I felt this emptiness around me. And beyond that morning of losing someone, I realized I missed hearing her sing. And I thought, I wonder if I can carry on that part of her. And so that led me into church teams, and then from there into vocal jams, and then from there to booking my own gigs. And one thing led to another. Here I am 12 years later.
Wow. That's incredible. What a great inspiration your mother had left on you, right? That imprint. And it's beautiful because you never know where it's going to come from. But when it hits right and you're in the zone, then it's special. And so you were able to take not only your love of music in your own career, but you realized that there was a need to uplift the legacy of jazz that we have here in the Seattle greater metro area. Tell us a bit more about what got you saying, I need to be doing something in this way when it comes to the Jackson Street Jazz Walk.
So my background is in marketing communications. That's what my undergrad and graduate degrees are in marketing, and that's the area that I work in that pays for my night job, as I like to say. But so I come from a nonprofit background. So when I got involved in the Jackson Street Jazz Walk, and I knew I was taking it over as executive producer, I knew the amount of work that's involved in something like that. And I wanted, when I went to bed at night, I wanted to know that all that work was about something more than a concert. And so I figured out, how am I going to make that happen? So that the altruism of being involved in nonprofit world made me connect a give back to the community. So every year the Jazz Walk takes a collection, and we make a donation to like the Central Area Senior Center. Yes, the Central, as they like to say now. And we made a donation to their meal delivery program. We've made donations to Northwest Harvest, the Rotary Boys and Girls Club, Carolyn Downs Medical Clinic, and this year it's Bird Bar Place. So that connection to giving back to the community was important, and also carrying on the music, bringing this legacy forward. So we have an educational component attached to the Jazz Walk, and then we also have the music, of course. And we're making sure that we have a diverse and inclusive array of music, not just the in-click crowd, but everybody has an opportunity to take part in it. We have 20 bands lined up to perform in the Jazz Walk this year on 9 community stages on South Jackson. So it's a huge undertaking.
Wow.
It's a huge undertaking.
I mean, this is incredible. And to be thinking about like the 12th annual anniversary of this amazing event, you know, I got to ask you, because you're leading executive producer. That means you are bringing all of this together. How is it to be actually finding the bands that have such a wide range, right? Those who are well known, and making sure you're still being plugged into those who may not be so known.
Right. So one of the things, we have an open submission period, and I set up Google Forms, and I advertise from the whole month of June. Submit your information if you want to be considered. And then I go through that list, and I listen to their music, and I see what they're doing, and I try to go by types. You know, one from column A, one from column B, to make sure there's a wide variety of musicians participating. So you have some, you know, nationally known artists there, but you also have some, who is that? I've never heard of them before. But they're tremendous. The talent is absolutely tremendous, and you've got to come. You got to come and check them out. They really are a great group of artists performing.
Well, I'll tell you this, there's nothing like live music, right?
I know.
It's
because you never know what's going to happen.
I know.
You never know what's going to happen. And jazz by nature is improvisation. That means we're just making it up as we go. But there's not just jazz. There's blues. There's going to be some soul stuff there. There's also Latin. So there's a wide variety of music going to be showcased at the Jazz Walk.
Wow. Well, congratulations to you and all the hard effort that you've done. Tell us a bit about pulling these volunteers together, because you can't do it just all with just your two hands. How has it been to build that team that really helps to support the success of this event?
So most importantly are our sponsors. We have a number of sponsors, and I don't want to go through the list now, but I'd ask people to go to our website, jacksonstreetjazz.org, and look at the number of companies or organizations that are sponsoring us, because I don't want to miss saying someone's name and I'll be like, she didn't say me. So I'm not going to say who they are, but we have a number of sponsors that financially contribute to the Jazz Walk. In addition to that, we solicit volunteers, and these are people that are going to be ticket takers. They man the information booth, they man the history table, and they help set chairs out, and they do all the offloading and the onloading. So we have approximately, I think it is 26 volunteers that are signed up this year, and we're going through orientation for the volunteers right now.
Wow.
So yeah. A lot of people make it happen.
But this is also one of those things that I love in terms of anchoring community, because it is oftentimes something like this that lets those who are just kind of starting or are less known get access to,
Yes.
to jazz lovers,
Right.
and those who love the art form.
Yes.
And so there's something inspiring about that. How have you been able to kind of receive some of that inspiration? I know as you are pulling this together, it's a lot of logistics, but then that day of it happens and it's just blissful in that regard. How do you sit back and receive all that?
And that's the perfect word for it, blissful. My parents were civically engaged in their community, and I believe they passed that on to me. My dad was at the voters poll, setting up the poll early in the morning for people to come and vote. And so that sense of community was ingrained in me as a child. And so now pulling all that sense together, now working with different organizations in the community, the Central, and also Langston worked with us before. Stephanie Johnson Tolliver, she's my bedrock. She helped me significantly in terms of getting connected to this history, because I didn't grow up in Seattle. I grew up in West Virginia. But I knew Ernestine Anderson, and this, I feel like it's my legacy as much as it is anyone's that's a part of the jazz industry. And so it's incredible to know that, it's important to know that I'm giving back to my community. I believe my family expects that of me. My mother and father would have expected that of me. But it's also tremendous to know that I'm creating a stage for other people to be discovered and for them to have an opportunity to be heard, because it's very hard to come by those opportunities. Even myself, as an experienced singer with awards behind my name and, up the charts and all that stuff, I'm still fighting for a stage, So what I can do to help other people be heard, I get gratification out of that, tremendous gratification out of that.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Well, it is so inspiring, honestly. And I love being able to know that this is happening right here in our city. It's another gem that we should all just be proud of, the fact that there is such a rich legacy that we can build off of,
Right.
but that it's continuing. Because I think too, sometimes people think legacy and they think, oh, that's like back in the day, like that's not happening today.
Right.
But
Right.
you're really pulling it all together.
Yes.
And you talked about the photo. So there's like a historical component to this too, right?
Yes. So we have a history table or a legacy table, and it's basically featuring some of the people you have up here: Ernestine Anderson, Frank Waldron, Buddy Hackett, those kinds of folks. They have a display board, and it talks about their career from beginning to end. And what I really like about it is that I put an interactive QR code on it, so they can actually scan that QR code and they can listen to that music for those people. I mean, isn't that freaking amazing?
Amazing.
I mean, yeah. So my son and his wife, they man that table. All my family's engaged in this, but whether they want to or not, she's like, you're doing this, you're doing that. So they man that table. And this is so important, that the number of people that pass by that table and say, I didn't know that. I didn't know this. I didn't know the other. And this is their history, that they should know it, because it embodes them, to feel a sense of, if they can do it, then I can do it.
Yeah.
And I watched some interviews of people who used to live in Central. I can't remember the lady, but she said they redlined us in and then they redlined us out. And this history has been displaced. Once there was an 85% population of Black people in the Central, now it's less than 5%.
Yeah.
But that music and that culture, how are you going to keep that going? You have to tell the stories. And events like the Jackson Street Jazz Walk enable us to do that, to not forget it. So we're honoring the past, honoring that legacy, but we're also influencing the future of Seattle jazz by helping create stages for these new artists to make their music and to be heard.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's important stuff.
I just, as a Seattleite, I just can't thank you enough for your hard efforts, your work on this, and bringing this out to the community. Of course, if folks are trying to get their tickets, they want to figure out, okay, how do I volunteer next year? Hey, how do I sponsor? Look right there and let them know how they stay tapped
so
in.
I'm going to give you this. This is your golden ticket.
Oh, yay!
That's your, you can get into any venue and see any band. And so everybody else, go online to jacksonstreetjazz.org, and tickets are all online. They're being issued, and you have your receipt on your phone. You come to the venue, you flash your phone, and then you'll get a wristband like that one. And then you can go into all the different venues and check out all the music. So come on out, support this event, make a part. Come out. This says, come out of your house, get engaged with your community, get engaged with your legacy, get engaged with the music that is happening right here in Seattle.
Wow. And this is, we got a couple of weeks or something, right? It's around the corner.
So you're right around the corner. Believe me, my 3 o'clock a.m. wake ups. What else is there to do? I know how far out we have. Yes, September 6th.
September 6th,
4:30 to 11 o'clock. Starting early, ending late. So you can come early and go home early. So there's all kinds of music being brought. 20 bands, 9 stages. Did I say 20 bands, 9 stages?
Right.
Just say
Absolutely. Eugenie, thank you so much. And thank you for my golden ticket.
Yeah.
I appreciate this. And I definitely can't wait to see some of those bands on those stages.
You're
Thanks
very
so
welcome.
much.
Thank you for having me.
Wow. Y'all, what an incredible inspiration, of course, on this Thank-Filled Thursday. So excited that she was joining me. You know I'm going to wrap it all up right after this break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Well, on Fox Face Off, we tell the raw, unadulterated truth.
Fox Soul Face Off.
We are given the platform here with no fear.
Always comes out swinging.
We should be saying, hey, stop shooting and killing people.
Nothing held back.
They wanted black hip-hop moguls and artists to continue the feud.
No punches pulled.
And shut the hell up.
You interrupt me all the time.
Tune into the show where opinions collide. Fox Soul Face Off. New episodes weeknights at 9 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
In Seattle, it's more than just coffee. It's community. At the station, we brew more than just your favorite cup. We brew connection. From Beacon Hill to Columbia City, we're a space for artists, activists, and everyone in between. A place to gather, create, and simply be. Whether you need a quiet place to work, a lively spot to meet friends, or just a moment to unwind, find your place at the station. More than coffee, it's home. Visit us in Beacon Hill or Columbia City. The Station, where community happens.
Welcome back, y'all, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Such a huge shout out to my guest today, Miss Eugenie Jones, for not only being the executive producer of the Jackson Street Jazz Walk, but for also bringing her passion in a way to serve community. Now, if you didn't hear it already, 20 bands and 9 stages, y'all. You cannot miss it on September 6th. A phenomenal time to get engaged within the community, uplift and amplify amazing artistry, and learn some of that rich history and legacy when it comes to the ways that jazz has truly shaped the culture of this area and even greater in the Pacific Northwest. Really excited that we could be a conduit to share this energy and information with all of y'all. And you know I'm inspired, right? I always get inspiration from folks who have that service model heart. And that's what she just showed us today. So y'all best be inspired too, because we all have a thing that we can give to make our communities better. And you're gonna hear me say it all the time, because if I can't encourage you, I don't know who will. So right now, take this as an opportunity to find your way to contribute to community, and make sure you go to the website and get your tickets now so you can get that amazing gold wristband as well. Thank y'all so much for watching. I'll be wrapping the week up with you tomorrow. And until then, at 11 a.m., y'all. Peace. Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.